Director Joshua Ank and Sights and Sounds Katie Miller join us to tell us about the new film, A Great Awakening, a stirring story of faith and friendship ahead of America's 250th anniversary. Thank you both for joining us today. So tell us about the film.
Well, thank you for having us. We are so excited at Sight and Sound to be bringing this film to the masses April 3rd, theaters nationwide. It's an unknown story. George Whitefield is arguably the most powerful evangelist that ever stepped foot on American soil, and people don't realize that he was able to speak to 30,000 people without any amplification, and that caught the attention of Benjamin Franklin, of all people, a man of science and means, and it was his partnership, it was their partnership that really sparked the first shared experience in the colonies, known as the First Great Awakening. So it's George Whitefield behind the pulpit and Ben Franklin behind his press that really motivated that First Great Awakening, and that's what this film is about.
That is really very cool. Okay, so why is your film important to America's 250th anniversary?
So when we first started to seek the Lord on what was next for Sight and Sound Films, this whole idea of the message of liberty began to swell within us. And as our teams dove deep into history and the different stories that were surfacing, George Whitefield kind of rose to the top very quickly because he really was the original voice speaking to Americans, speaking throughout the colonies of what true liberty looks like. And when we began to recognize that that story was then interwoven with Ben Franklin and the founding fathers and the revolution, and this whole idea of there was a revelation of what true liberty is in the hearts of Americans before we ever even got to the revolution, the story began to write itself. And now the timing of it could not be more perfect for our 250th.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think there's a lot of Americans who don't realize that Benjamin Franklin, we start this journey towards revolution decades before we actually get there. So it's very, very cool. I like that. And all right, so let me ask you, who is this film for?
Yeah, well, we at Sight and Sound, this is our 50th anniversary as a storytelling company. So we bring the Bible to life on stage, and we made the big jump to the screen about 5 years ago. This is our second feature film, and so it's for the young and the old. We want to inspire people's hearts towards truth through the power of story. Just like our stage productions, this film is very immersive. It has spectacle, but it's the spectacle meeting story. That's really where Sight and Sound happens. This is not just entertainment. There's purpose and meaning and a higher calling to what we do, and that's our heart for this film, is that people will be super inspired with our foundation as a country and the DNA that made us who we are. Before we get into the noise of the 4th of July with the 250th anniversary, I feel like this is a very providential time for this movie to come out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, so before I let you go, where do we go to learn some more information? And also, when does the movie release?
So for all the information you need, you can go to agreatawakening.com. Their select theaters have early access opportunities on Palm Sunday, and then it releases nationwide all throughout the country in movie theaters on Easter weekend, April 3rd.
And tickets are on sale now.
That is fantastic. Thank you so very much for joining us today. That's very, very cool. Best of luck with the film. And guys at home, if you want to watch this segment again or others like it, just head over to First Coast News Plus.